everybody, this is Ellen. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to make a happy witch. This is my version 2.0. I started making the different heads on their bodies, smaller bodies, and I really like how these looked. And I did make a witch previously, not that long ago, and she looked like this. Now, I really loved her when I first did her, but after making other things I was just kind of like, I want to try something different. So made this one. So this one's kind of like the cuter, scarier version, and this one's just kind of like a cuter version, more kawaii in my mind, which is kind of what I go for much more. So I love them both, but I wanted to show both of them, and so now it's time for this one. So she's adorable. Band-wise, black was 300, so it is a little band heavy. The purple for the belt, and there's some in her tights here. That was, well, it's 24 for the belt, and then there's 24 in her tights. So, but you can change the tight colors to whatever you want. And then the orange for the hair is 194. So it is a little band heavy, but I wanted her to have a lot of hair because I think it's cute that way. And then the green for the face and the hands is 150. And then there's orange in the tights. There's 24 there. So she's a bit band heavy, but totally worth it, totally adorable. I love her little hat. There's some prep work involved too, so whatever the tutorial length is that you see here, it's going to be a little bit longer because there's things you have to make, like all the hair. So for the hair, there are 31 of these 6-chain long hairs. So it's the cap band plus 5 chains to get the 6-chain long. So 31 of these. And then there are 2 of them that are, I actually made them so they were 2 long, but I'm going to increase them 1 more in the tutorial. So there'll be 2 that are 3 long, and then there'll be 1 that is 2 long. It goes right in the middle here in the forehead. So I'm going to make these a little bit longer in the tutorial, but so I'll have all that stuff down in the description box below so that you know exactly what you need to make for it ahead of time. Just with the single chains, it's really hard to make them ahead of time. You can't really put them onto bands to save them, you know, pull some bands through like we do with other stuff. You have to kind of make them and store them on hooks or pencils or chopsticks or anything you can think of that you can store them on, because you do need a lot of them. This is only half of them. So, and they take a little while to make, but they're not too bad. So we have all that prep work to make, and that's all for the prep work necessarily. So once we have the hair done, the rest of it goes pretty quickly. Well, kind of quickly. We're making a figure. It's going to take a while. So first, the eyes. I'm using 9mm pony beads. You don't have to use pony beads. You can use wrapped bands. It'll be 2 bands, whatever color you want the eye to be, on the hook. You double it, grab all the bands, double them again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your face, or the skin on your witch. So you have 2 eye bands like that, or the pony beads, and then you want the cheeks, which are 1 band, whatever color you want the cheek to be, on the hook. Wrap it around, grab both bands, wrap it around again, and then pull through 2 bands that are the color of your witch, her face. Like that. So you want 2 cheeks, and then the hair is whatever color you want the hair to be. This is in kind of orange from the pastel pack, but it's just single banded. You put a band on, double it, grab both bands, double it again, and then pull through 5 single chains. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you have the cap band, which I'm counting as 1, and then there's 5 chains pulled through for 6 total. So you have to have 31 of these, and then for the There's two other spots where you need one. You need two that are 3 long, so it's the cap band plus 1 and 2 pulled through. So you need 2 like that, and then there'll be 1 that is a cap band with a band pulled through. But like I said, all of that will be in the description. You want to make these ahead of time because we just kind of plow through as we're going them, since I have them made already, most of them. I don't have the little ones made. So you want that made. But once you have those made, you can come back and we'll get started. She's so cute. So you want your loom, you want the wrong end towards you. And we start with the hat and work our way down. The head is separate, so we put that on separately. So for the hat, cat here, we're going to be working first on 12 pins. So this is single banded, put it on the loom, cross it, and we go up 5. Like that. And then come back and close it. Like that. And then we'll do a row right on top of this, still single banded. This is the brim of the hat. I guess I should specify what we're doing. Like that. And once you're here, you want to loom these out, but you're going to loom from the inside to the outside. So you go in from the inside, grab those bottom 2 bands, and pull them to the outside. That. Push everything down. I'm going to do another row all the way around, single banded still. And I was so disappointed that this month I got sick as much as I did, because I have more figures to get out and it's already going to be Halloween, so I don't know what I'm going to do. So like this, you want to do the same thing, grab the bottom 2 bands, flip them towards the outside, I feel like I need a break. Not being sick, not having sick kids or episodes or yeesh. So like that. Now what we want to do is reduce everything. So starting down here in this lower corner, I'm going to pick up the 2 bands that are on that pin. So I'll kind of slide this off forward. So the 2 bands are on my hook. I'm just going to pull them up to the next pin around. Then we'll go up to the next one, take those 2 bands off, pull those up to the next pin, next one, those up to the corner pin. Then we'll come over to the other side, and for this one we want to grab the bands, pull them up, slide those bands off from behind the pin, just so they come forward, and the bands come down. And the next one comes down, next one comes down, So now your whole thing is on 6 pins. So we're going to do a row around, single band. It's kind of long stretches. Like that. And this time when you flip, it's still from the inside to the outside, but there's going to be 4 bands to flip. 2 from the reducing that we did, and then 2 from the row before. Alright, so we're still on 6 pins, but what we need to do is bring all of these to a hexagon. We're going to leave these 2 where they are, so that means we're going to bring this one up a pin, and then this one's going to come over to the center. So I'll do the center one first, come back here, I'll grab those 2 bands, and just kind of let the brim of the hat slide over until I can pull these to the center. And then these 2, I'll just pick them up and slide those up. And I'm actually going to pull this one back a little bit, just so we have more room when we do our other looming on top of this. Then we'll come up here. This one's going to come down a pin, and then the corner is going to come to the center. So again, I'm going to pick up those 2 bands, slide it over the pin, bring it down to that center, and then this one is going to come down a pin. So like that. Then what we're going to do is take 2 bands, put them on your hook, double them, and then you'll want to double them again, just a little point. And then we want to pull 4 bands through, just making sure. Take 4 bands and just pull them straight through and double it back over. And then another 4 bands. Pull those through, kind of center it again, and then this needs to go onto the loom. So what I'm going to do, just grab one end off and stretch it along the center area of our hexagon. So once I have it there, then I'm going to pick up 2 bands from the right side, bring them down, pick up 2 bands from the left side, bring those down, so it looks like this now. And then we're going to do 2 rows around our little 4 pins. So push those down. You can even kind of put that off to the side if you need to. It's 2 bands now. Go all the way around the 4 pins. Then you'll flip the 2 bands that are underneath that little part we just put on. We're ignoring the brim around the outside for now. Pull my center back up like that. Push it down. So that's 1 row. Then we'll do another row all the way around. The 4 pins. Like that. And then we're just going to flip the bottom 4 that are part of the row we put on previously. Again, ignoring the brim bands below. Like that. Now what we need to do is increase. So this top right corner, I'm going to pick up the top 2 bands and bring them to the center. And then down here on the lower left corner, I'm going to grab all 4 bands, bring them to the center, and then bring the top 2 back to the outside, or to the pin they were on. So now our top of our hat is on 6 pins. And we're going to do 2 rows all the way around on our 6 pins. Double banded. So this is our first row. Like that. So when we flip, you're either going to have 2 bands to flip where we increased, or it'll be 4 bands. Again, ignoring those brim bands when you do. And it's a little hard because black is not ideal for seeing or differentiating between bands because you don't get the shadows between the bands like you would with other colors. It's like crochet. If you ever teach yourself or learn how to crochet, black is the worst color to start with because you can't see the shadows to look into the little grooves of the yarn. So that was our first row. Now we'll do a second row around the 6 pins again. Like that. Again, flip the bottom 4, ignoring the brim. Oops. Need to stay. Like that. So you should have 4 from the brim, or 4 from the hat upper portion on the pin, and then each one of the pins should also have 2 below for the brim. So once you have that second row on, we're actually going to flip the brim up. So I just take it and kind of bring it forward closer, right around the outside of the hexagon. So once you're like this, if you just grab the outside, pull it out, and then you can kind of see that little triangle space right there. That's going to slide up over the top of the pin. And you'll do that on all of them. Like that. So you still should have 4 bands on every pin with your brim kind of wrapped around those bands now. So then push those down, and now what we're going to do is puff with our face color or skin color. My new one's going to be neon. So on every pin around, you're going to stick your hook through the bands that are on the pin, take 2 bands of your face color, pull them up through, put both ends on your hook, take the bands off the pin, and then the face color bands that are on your hook are going to go back onto that pin. And you do that all the way around. For the center ones, it's a little hard for me to get my hands in there, so I'll drop them on the pin over, go through my bands, hook them up, bring them back, and then put them onto the pin. Like that. So all of them are puffed with the face color. And now we're going to add some hair to this. So you're going to want some of your 6 strands, which I just pulled one apart. No! Alright, some of your 6 strands, and then you also will want some of the 3 long and the 2 long. Well, 2 long will go next row. So, first, let's just do I need to make my 3 long, so it's just the doubled band with 2 pulled through. Like that. That's the 3 long. And those are going to go on these 2 pins right here. So I'm actually going to pick up the bands I just put on there, slide down the hair, and then put the bands back onto the pin. I didn't want to do it the first time around just because in case we lost bands or too much going on. That'd be no good. One, two, 3. 3 long. And try and keep them poked up. You can dig them back out if they get stuck in the banding, but so 3 long right there. The rest of the pins, the other 4, will get the 6 long. Hopefully I could just use them off of here without them all falling off. But just pull those bands up and then put on your 6 ones. Alright. So grab all those bands that you just put on that are wrapped around the pins. Mainly you just want the long ones, which there are 4 of them. Bring them up to the top. Then take another band and using the point of the hat here, anchor them to that so they're not flopping in your way. Like that. And now we're going to do a row around, and we're going to add the hair again as we go around. So to do this one, we'll start up here in the front so we can get that one done first. That one is a 2 long one, so it's the double wrapped band and then a band pulled through. And then it goes through 2 of the green face bands, or the face bands, don't have to be green. So that one goes right there, and in between all the rest of them we do 6. Just take your 2 bands, pull it on, put those on. And if you're not familiar with increasing, I'd come and put the bands on the way that I am right now. I'm just kind of going back counterclockwise, which I know is weird because I don't normally do that. But that way when I increase next row, you'll be able to follow with me instead of having to figure it out by yourself. Like that. Again, I'm going to grab all of the little stray hairs, which there are now 5 long ones to grab. Pull those all up to the top. Take another band and tie them up there. Like that. Then we'll go ahead and flip the bottom 4. Push everything down. So now we're going to increase all the way around. So starting over here on the right, I'll grab the top 2 bands and I can just lift them up and take them up a pin. And then for this one, I can just take the top 2 bands again and pull them down a pin. On the other side, I can see, I take all 4 bands on this lower corner, bring them down a pin, and then I grab the top 2 and bring them back to the pin they were on. Up here in this corner, I can just grab the top 2 bands and pull them up a pin. And then for the center ones, you just want to grab the top 2 bands wherever they are, and then you'll see the bands coming from the left side, so I'm going to take it over to the left side, and then the other one we just take over to the right. So you take it to whatever side it's coming from. Do the same thing up here. Grab the top 2. If you can grab them. Top 2. And something else. Top 2 coming from the right, so they're going to go over to the right, and then the other 2 will go over to the left. So now we are stretched out to 12 pins, 6 on each side. And we're going to do another row, adding some hair. So for the 3 spots right in here, there won't be any hair. It'll just be the rest of the way around. Actually 5 spots. So we'll do hair down here. And then we'll skip. Do green up the front. And then hair on the rest of them. Just turning my loom so it's a little easier. I was looking at my picture to where the hair goes. That's looking at a different spot. That's why I was like, oh, it doesn't go here. But yes, it does. No, it doesn't. Sometimes I don't draw my pictures very well, explaining what I'm doing, which is not a good thing. I think it's good, and then I come back later and try and make something with it. And I'm like, what did I do there? So hair. Again, I'm going to grab all my stray hairs, pull them towards the center, knot them up again. Like that, and you'll flip the bottom 2 all the way around. Push everything down. Just tuck it in my stuff here. Next is going to be our eye row. Well, we still need to add hair, of course, so there'll be hair down here. Then up the front side it'll just be green bands except for where we put the eyes. So green bands. Next spot will be an eye. Then face bands, then another eye, then face bands, and then all the way around the rest is going to be hair again. Like that. Again, I'm going to pull them up. Lots of hair. Missed one, but oh well. So we have the eyes on, hair's on all the back side here. So we can go ahead and flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Like that. Push everything down. Sorry, her hair is in the way. Next is our cheek girl, so you want your cheeks. So this time, the hair is only going to go on the back side of the head. So there'll be 2 green here, and then more green, then a cheek. I guess I shouldn't assume you're going to make your witch green, but then there'll be 2 bands. Makes me itch. Then another cheek. And then 2 bands in the next 2 spots. Like that. And then hair all along the back side. Like that. Hair on the back side, cheeks. Again, I'm going to pull these up. Kind of doing it more for your benefit now, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing through all of her massive hair. So then we'll flip the bottom 4 all the way around. Like that. Push everything down. Now we need to put the mouth on. So the mouth is going to go between these 2 pins here on the front where the cheeks are. So you'll take a band, whatever color you want it to be for the mouth, double it on your hook, and you'll pull it off and hold it doubled. Take your hook, go through the bands on the pin, grab that mouth band, pull it up through, up over the top of the pin, then bring it down. Then go over to the next pin, put your hook through, grab the mouth band, pull it up through, and up over the top of the pin, and then pull it down. So you're wrapped around 2 pins now. And then once you're here, you'll just take it and lift it up over the top of the pins. Like that. Then we have another row to do. So start here, be green all the way around the front. Around the side. And then on the back side, the hair is going to go in the middle 3 spots right here. So there'll be 2 green bands here and here. Hair goes in the middle. Should only have 3 left anyways for hair. That's what I was looking at earlier. I jumped way ahead when we had it all mixed up. So hair, middle 3 on the back side. And 2 bands. Alright, so I'm going to undo her hair for a moment, because tying it all up tight is preventing me from letting it rise more. Alright, so now you want to go and flip the bottom 4 all the way around after you get those last 3 hair bands on. If you notice, I didn't change the color of the skin bands when I pulled them through the hair. And that's mainly just because she has so much hair that you can't really see it. And plus it just adds another layer of things to do to the head before you can finish it. And I just didn't think it was totally necessary to try and do all that. So then push everything down once you get that row on. And we are going to reduce now. So starting down here on the lower right corner, well, first I'm going to tuck in my ends behind these pins like that. So lower right corner, I'm going to pick up the top 2 bands. They're coming from above, so they're going to come to the opposite pin, which would be below, kind of. And then the other 2 bands will come up and go up to the next pin. Grab the top 2 bands. They're coming from above, so they'll go below, and then the other 2 go to the opposite pin. Go to the next pin up. Top 2 bands coming from above, so they're going to go below. Other 2 bands will go above. So 3 pins now on the front side. Then we'll come over to the other side, top left. Got all this hair in the way. Get the top 2, they're coming from below, so they're going to come over to the other side. And these 2 will come down. Okay. Next, one down, top 2. They're coming from below, so the bands on the top are going to go above. and the other two will go below. Come down to the next one, and last one, thankfully. Bands are coming from below on the top, so they're going to go above. And the other two will go below. So now we're on 3 pins on this side as well. Push all those down. Now we're going to do another row all the way around on our 6 pins. So there's kind of some long stretches going. Like that. So now when you flip the bands, there's going to be 4 reducing bands to flip on each pin, and then 4 from the row before. And you do that on each pin. I'd recommend doing half and half. When you flip, don't try and flip them all at once. It'd just be too tight. Then you can flip these over to the inside when you pass them. Last one. Alright. So now you can kind of pull your head up a little bit. Push all your bands down. And you can pull her up some more. This helps to kind of even out the bands on the bottom. So like this. And then we're ready to take her off. So you want the start on a far corner. Grab those bands, come around, kind of pull and center, then take 2 bands, pull them through everything on your hook. I totally just remembered I forgot to pick up something today when I was at the doctor's office with one of my kids. That's what that O was for. Not for this. If you heard it. So pull it through. Just kind of evening out the bottom here. Means I have to go back to the doctor's office on Monday. Hide your tail. It's my son's physical form for basketball. He needs it very soon. Alright. So we can undo her hair. Totally. Pointy hat, cute little hair. Oh yeah, I like those a little longer in the front. Doo doo. So cute. Alright, so we made the head. And now it's time for the body. And that will probably take just as long. Now see what I mean about changing the color? You can hardly notice unless all the bands are goofy. So, the rest of the awesome Happy Witch. So you want to take 2 bands that are going to be the color of the dress. And if you're squishing her head, so face is on one side and the back of her head's on the other side, you take your hook, stick it through one side, take 2 bands, they're going to be the color of her little dress, pull them through, both ends on the hook, and then, still squeezing in that same spot, come over to the other side, and kind of come through the center again, with 2 more bands, put those on the hook, like that. Now we need her on the loom so that you have the wrong end of the loom facing towards you. You want her face over here and then her hair on the back side. So what I'm going to do is take, if I kind of look at this, I need to turn my loom around, I think, yes. And I'm going to take these bands, put the first 4 or first 2 bands onto the loom like this. And then I still have the other bands I pulled through on my hook. I'll put those right next to it. If I turn this around here, so this is the way it should be on the loom. Now I'm just going to grab the top 2 bands, pull them across to the other side, do that on both of the bands I put on, and then just slide her head to the center. Hopefully. It's worked so nicely before. Oh, I'm just stuck. Okay. Slide her head to the center, like that. So my tail bands. Yep. Those tail bands and me, we got issues. So it should look like this once you get it on there. I've done it different ways before, but I think this way works too. Just kind of whatever works for you as far as ease. If you put it on and you're facing the wrong way, then just kind of rotate everything around until you get it so that it's positioned this way. And you want it to kind of be in the center of the loom, so like, you know, I might want to move mine up a little bit more so it's more center. Just move those bands until it's positioned the way you need it to be. Like that. So then we're going to do a row all the way around the 4 pins. It's 2 bands. I'll do my absolute best to keep her hair out of the way so you can see what I'm doing, or turn my loom so you can see what I'm doing. I like the back side here. It's a little hard. So I just went 4 pins around. So we're going to flip the bottom 2 bands on every pin. And this will secure the head on to the loom pretty good. Like that. And then push down. Nice and tight. Now we want to increase to 6 pins. So this corner down here on the lower left, I'm going to pick up all 4 bands, bring them to the center pin, and then grab the top 2 and bring them back to the pin that they were on. Now the opposite corner up here, I can grab the top 2 bands and just bring them over to the center, like that. So now we're on 6 pins. Push everything down. And now we want to do the arms. Now she has little cuffs on her arms. It is extra bands. It takes a little bit extra work. So I'll do that. If you don't want the bands, you can just totally skip kind of the first part that I do here. So these are for the cuffs. We'll start with doing a hexagon shape with crossed bands first. Like that. Do the same thing on the other end. single bands. And come back down to the beginning. We're going to do a row around, single band still, just normally. Like that. Do the same thing up here. Now we're going to flip. And we're going to flip from the inside to the outside. Bottom two, up and over. Like that. Same thing on the other end. Push those down. So what we want to do is reduce each side. So to do that, on this side down here, I'm going to pick up the top center, lift it up and over. Then the bands that are on my hook are going to come over to the left and come down to this one, lower left, pick those up, bring them to the center, and these are going to come down. And then these, on this pin, are going to go up to the last pin up there. Like that. Now up here on this end, I kind of want to do a little bit different. We start here at the top. Actually, no, sorry, don't do that. Start right here. Pick up those bands. Over the top. Bring it down, and then right here, grab those, lift those up and over, bring them over to the right, and then these last ones right here, you'll bring up towards the top center, like that. And we're going to do a row on our 3-pin that we have here, single band. Put one on both ends. Like that. And again, you're going to flip from the inside to the outside, but there are going to be 4 bands to flip over your 2 bands that you have on the top of the pin now. Just go ahead and flip those over. Up here. Alright, so on each pin you should still have 2 bands wrapped around on the inside. What we need to do is we're going to take a chunk of our cuff here, and you're just going to kind of bring it around the pin so that it all comes towards the inside. Like that. Kind of weird, but it works. So you just grab the bands, kind of bring it around the outside of the pin. To the inside, like that. So what we want to do is you want your hand color, and these will go kind of right as a triangle or 3-pin with a cap band, like that. You just follow the bands that are already there. Like that. Center pin gets a cap band. It's 2 bands wrapped around 3 times. So 1, 2, and 3. And then up here, 1, 2, and 3. And you go in through your cap band, grab the top 2 bands wherever they are, pull them back towards themselves. Like that. Same thing up here, through the cap band, grab the top 2 bands, like that. Then we're going to do a row around in the dress color. So row on the outside. Do that on both ends. Like that. And then you're just going to flip your hand color up and over first. And then since you're here, you can go ahead and flip that cuff as well. Those 2 bands below. Do the same thing up here. Flip over the hand. Then flip over the cuff bands. Now the arms grow down, so push it down, don't pull up the centers. And now we need to do 3 rows all the way around with the dress color. So this will be row 1. Both ends. Flip the bottom 4. Push down. Second row. Like that. Flip the bottom 4. Push it down. And now our third row. Flip the bottom 4. Alright, so now we're ready to move the arms, and to do so, actually a little farther away than I normally am, so this will be interesting. I want to pick up these side bands, and those need to come up on their correlating sides here. So I'm going to pick up these 2 bands, and I'm probably going to have to move this all up a pin because I'm too far away. We can make it. We can make it. Alright, so those are stretched up very far onto their correlating sides, and then for this one down here in the center, you need to pick it up from the bottom. Don't put your hook straight down, pick it up from the bottom, lift them off, and then you just kind of turn your hook over and bring them down. That'll help give a nice edge to the arm when you're done. So then go ahead and push those down. Then we go to the other side and do the exact same thing. And I'm closer on this side, which is where I should have been on the other side. Pick up the bands here, bring them down. Pick up the bands here, bring those down. And I try and keep this back behind the pin if I can, just because it helps create a little bit of room to loom the center pin. So again, I move the sides down, pick up that center one from underneath, and then just kind of roll it over to the center pin, like so. So now we're ready to do a row around. Two bands. I'm going to just go around on the 6 pins right around the head. So all the way around the 6 pins. So now when we flip, if you start in the center pin, go in through that little space created here, pick up those bottom 2 bands, pull them up through the arm and up over the top of the pin, and then push it down. And then you can go and do the sides. So flip over the side arm band, and then the front is going to have 4 bands to flip over. And then back here, flip over the arm bands, and then there'll be 2 to flip over. So that arm is good to go. Then we come to the other side. It's the same thing. Start in the center, find those bottom 2 bands you need to flip over. They're a little harder to grab just because the pin is in a different position, but once you get them, flip them up over the top, press that down, then you'll flip over your arms. Then the front will have 2 bands more to flip. Then you flip over your arm on the other side, and then the back here will have 4 bands to flip right there. So once you get all those flipped, push everything down, and then you can take your arm off of the pin carefully. And as you do so, if you kind of leave it stuck on the pin a little bit, that helps, because then you can just kind of grab it, pull it up, and then you basically just kind of rotate it up towards the head, and it'll come up over the pin and be where it should be. And do the same thing on the other side. Maybe a little harder to get this one off just because the pin faces a different direction, but get it off. Don't worry about the cuffs or anything like that right now. So like that. Then rotate it over. Now the arm should be squished up by the head. Your cuffs will probably look all messed up. But then on each pin around, or each 6 pin around, you'll still have 4 bands on those pins. So we're not too far away. And check my notes. So what I'm going to do is 3 rows all the way around our 6 pins. So it's a little squishy now because we got the arms there and everything else. But just 2 bands all the way around for 3 rows. And as we put more rows on here, then the hair and the arms get up out of our way, which will be helpful as well. I'm waiting for my loom to snap. It's been very, very creaky. So row all the way around our 6 pins. This is our first one. You'll go ahead and flip the bottom 4 once you get that one on. Push down. Do our second row all the way around. So second row all the way around on the 6 pins. Flip your bottom 4. Push down, and then a third row all the way around. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. Push everything down. So now it's time to put on her belt. So whatever color you want the belt to be. I'm going to do a purple one again. It's the same thing going all the way around. It's just going to be when we put the 2 bands on, you're going to cross them first. And you're going to do that all the way around for this row. So cross them. So crossed bands all the way around. Then you want to push those down. And then right on top of that, you're going to do 2 more bands normally. All the way around. like that. So we're going to flip just the crossed bands that we did on the first row here. So you find the crossed bands in the center. You'll still have 4 bands at the top and then the dress bands at the bottom. But find those 4 bands and flip them over. Like that. So that's our belt made. So now we got to kind of turn it around. So how we're going to do that to get the belt where it needs to be, so you go in through the belt bands that are on the pin, grab the dress bands below, pull them up through the belt bands, slide off the belt bands off the pin, and then the dress bands are going to go back onto the pin. So through the belt bands, grab the dress bands, pull them up through, belt bands off, dress bands back on. And you do that all the way around. One more. Alright, belt's on. So it looks like that. So now we're ready to do the skirt portion. So this will take a little while too, unfortunately. But it's going to be on 12 pins around first, single banded. So if you start right here, which is 2 spaces away from where the hexagon is, it'll fit well. Make sure all of this is pressed down. Then you do cross bands for our first row. So across 1 and then up 5 in your skirt color. Like that, cross bands all the way around, and then right on top of that you're just going to take another single band and loom around, or lay the bands around, not loom yet. So like that. And then we're going to flip the bottom 2 from the row we put on, the cross row that we put on, but they need to be flipped from the inside to the outside. It's not so bad on the ones where the witch is not. It does get a little trickier when you get into here. Just take your time to get those right 2 bands. So there'll be the 4 bottom bands from the dress from before, and then you'll have 2 middle bands, which are what you want to flip to the outside, and then 2 bands that'll stay on the top. Alright, so once you have all that, you push it down. Now we need to do 2 more rows just like that, still single band. This will be the first row. So single band all the way around. Same thing as before. Flip the bottom 2 from the inside to the outside. Alright, that's 2. Push everything down. And last row all the way around. Single band still. Same thing, flip from the inside to the outside. Alright, push everything down. Now we need to reduce our 12-pin skirt to 6 pins. So starting right here in this corner, I'm going to go in through the bands that are on the pin. I'm going to take these 2 and pull them up. I'll kind of slide the rest of the skirt off here to the inside there. Next one up, I'll grab those 2 bands from the skirt, pull them up, then go up to the next one, grab those 2 bands, pull those up to the corner, and coming over to the other side, grab these 2 bands, pull them up, bring them down, slide these over, and the next one, grab those 2, slide them down, and then lastly these 2 will come down to the corner. So now our skirt is on 6 pins. We'll do 1 row around, still single banded, stretching just for the skirt. Like that. So then you go in and you're going to be flipping 4 bands underneath the row we put on. 2 from the reducing and then 2 from the row before. And it's just on those 6 pins. Corners are always hard. Alright, one more. Alright, so the skirt that is on the 6 pins, you should have 2 bands for the skirt on every pin, which I do. So now we need to move it closer back onto the hexagon. But we need it to be underneath the bands that are already here. So I'm going to pick up these 2 bands that are on the center pin, lift them up, move them over, out of the way. Then I'm going to pick up these 2 bands on this corner for the skirt, lift them up, bring them to that center, push them down, and then I'm going to put those dress, or the dress back onto the pin, like that. On this side, I'm going to pick up the dress bands again, move them out of the way, pick up this side, move them down, push it all the way down, grab my dress bands, put them back onto that pin. Then on the other side here, the skirt bands are actually already on top of the pin, so we need to move the skirt bands out of the way. I moved them down a pin. Now we need to move the dress bands out of the way. And then grab those skirt bands, put them back on the pin where they were, and then move the dress bands back onto the pin. So now our skirt band should be underneath these 3 pins on this side. And we basically do the same thing on the other side, just opposite. So I'm going to move the center out of the way, I'll move it over here, out of the way, take this far corner, pick up those 2 bands for the skirt, bring them to the center, put them on the pin, push them down, put the dress back on, dress bands back on, push them down. This corner on the left side, you're going to pick up all the bands for the dress. I just saw one break. I'm going to move the skirt bands right here, down a pin, and then I'll put the dress bands back. And there's probably nothing I can do about that band right now, so we're hoping. Then on the right side, we need to move the skirt bands up out of the way. Then I'll grab the dress bands, move them over out of the way, put the skirt bands back onto the pin where I got them from, and then put the dress bands back. Alright. Woo! We're getting there. So we have all of the skirt bands underneath our dress bands. So now we can kind of bring this all in forward. So it's right around the 6 pins. And then what we want to do is, if you just take the skirt and kind of pull it out, you want to slide, you can see where my finger is right here, slide those 2 bands up over the top of the pin. And you do that on every pin around. Just slide them up and over. So you're still leaving those 4 dress bands on the pin. If I want to replace that band, I have to redo the entire belt. So I think we're good. That's why double banding is awesome. Alright, so now the dress is pulled up. Should look like that. Kind of like Batman's tool belt. So once you have that, we're going to do a leg row. So we just switch to our legs right away because we're ready. I'll put a little bit of black over. So the legs for her tights, I just picked different random colors. We do 4 rows, so you can pick like up to 4 colors to make them kind of rainbowish or whatever you want to do. So it's any colors you want for the legs. So I'm going to start with orange for the legs. You take your hook, and if it's pointed up, go underneath on one side. So you have 3 pins, it'll be a leg, 3 pins over here will be a leg. So take your hook and go through one side. If you come out the other, you'll take 2 bands, put them on your hook over here, pull them through, and as you get kind of right here with your finger on the left side, throw it up over the top of the pin, and then keep pulling with your hook to the other side. Then using your hook, you can pull them up over the top of the pin on the other side. So you can see that the band goes underneath of the design. We'll do the same thing over here on the other side for the other half of the leg. Hook up, take your 2 bands for that first row, pull it through, put the bands on the left side, keep pulling with your hook, bring them over to the right side, like that. Push those down, and then you'll do kind of fill up the outside of the leg like that for one side, and then the other side. So like that. And then you go on every pin and flip the bottom 4 bands, which in my case are all black, or 3 if you've broken one. Alright, so that's 1 row, 3 more to go with the tights. So do the same exact thing. Hook through, point it up, grab your 2 bands, pull them through, hooking the left side, pulling over to the right side. Do it for the other one. And going on the outside of the leg. Like that. Flip your bottom 4. And push your bands down. Kind of pull up with your legs. And do our 3rd row for the leg tights. Going through. And going around the outside. Like that, and flipping your bottom 4. It's kind of nice when they switch colors, so it's really easy to tell which one's the bottom 4. Push everything down, pull up again on the legs, and then one more row all the way around for your tights. And I film really long tutorials. All I can think of is, please camera, don't die. Don't stop now. It shouldn't. It's fairly new, but still. So this is our 4th row and final row all the way around for the tights. Flip in the bottom 4. Push down, and you kind of pull the legs up again. And then we have one more row, and that will be whatever color you want her shoes to be. Give her black shoes. Just pull it through, just like we have been. Sorry that I wasn't very talkative during this tutorial besides telling you what you needed to do. It is probably 5:30 in the morning right now as I'm finishing up, so I got a little tired. I'm just going to flip the bottom 4 here on our last row. Push everything down. So we're ready to take them off, or take her off. We'll start on the side, one of the sides. Put your hook down through, take the bands off, all the way around that leg. Kind of pull it down, and take 2 bands, pull them through. Put both ends on, make a slip knot. You don't have to pull it very tight right now, you just want to get it on there to secure it. And then do the other leg. Starting on the side. Again, pull the bands through, both ends on, secure with a slip knot. So once you're here, you'll go up through the leg, grab your tail band, pull it down. Trying not to snag everything, but haven't had very good luck lately not doing that. As you pull it down, then you can kind of flatten out the bottom of her foot, and it will make it so that the kind of the last row that you did there will come towards the bottom to kind of make the appearance of having a shoe, or it kind of hides the color from the tights. It's not totally perfect, but I think it works fine. So So do that for the other leg. Pull those tail bands down. Flatten the foot. Then you can pull her skirt down. Should look fabulous. And then for the little cuffs, you just kind of have to stretch them out around her hand. They're meant to be kind of frilly, but if they're too frilly, then you just got to keep kind of pulling on them, because it just means the bands have been pulled out of whack a little bit. So like that. I have to pull in here, make them tighter to get rid of any of the spaces. Like that. Same thing on the other side. I'll finish fixing those later. But otherwise, most of this should have kind of went where it needed to go. You might have to tighten up the head to the body by just going in and grabbing some of those bands and pulling them tight. Like that. And then of course, if you don't want the arm sticking straight out, you go and find the top braid in the arm, which is right here. Put your hook through there, grab them and pull them up or away from the body, and that will help position the arm down. Same thing on the other side. Find the top braid, pull the bands away from the body, and you get the little shoulders. Cuffs are annoying me. Alright, so it's just shorter than my other witch tutorial, which is good. It's still long because there are a lot of things to do, processes with the hair and the hat and the skirt, and yeah, so but I think it's totally worth it. I think she's super adorable. Much more kawaii, I think, than my first one, which is, I definitely love kawaii things. They make me smile. Doot. So adorable. I hope that you agree, because if you finish the whole entire thing, I'd hope that you love it when you're finished. If you have any weird hair bands, usually it just makes, you just have to kind of twist the bands around and it should correct itself, but usually they aren't too like crazy where it's like feels like it ruins the whole face or something. But I think she's super cute. I love her. I hope that you agree. And if you made her or any of the other Halloween items, or if you made my other witch, definitely share those with me on my Instagram, which is at Crafting Fantastic, or on my Facebook page, which is feelinspiffy. There are links below the video. And then of course it'd be fabulous if you would subscribe to my channel so you know when I come out with new things, which you don't know what it's going to be or when it's going to be unless you subscribe, because then you'll be the first to know when you get the alert. But I thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. It means a lot to me that you're still sticking around with me. It's been over a year that I've been looming and sharing, and it's just amazing, and you guys rock, and I wouldn't be here without you, so I definitely appreciate it. I appreciate every one of you, and I will have more tutorials for you as soon as I can. Bear with me. I'm working as best as I can to get my schedule back to some kind of easier thing, but it's not easy when it seems like chaos reigns lately. But thank you again, and happy Halloween.